so grateful, as you'll hear me say in the text of this speech, for something that's a part of mortality which we sometimes overlook, and that is the intertwinings of our lives. The ways in which the Lord causes these intersections to occur and then to resume. And some here have heard me say that one of the reasons we love each other so much in the kingdom is that our friendships are not friendships of initiation at all, but indeed are friendships of resumption. It's a marvelous thing that the Lord gives us these experiences, and you have them as well as I, of course. And it shouldn't surprise us, brothers and sisters, that Heavenly Father brings about these intersectings and intertwinings of our lives. So often after something's over, we'll say, little did I realize, or I had no way of knowing that these intersectings should occur. But why should we be surprised? Each of us has circles of friendships, and within those is the portion of the human family that God has given us to love, to serve, and to learn from. And I feel so blessed to have learned from the Irings and the Batemans and the Hafens and so many others who are here today on the stand and in the audiences. One of the things I've found is that within each of our circles of friendship, there lie many opportunities to love, to serve, and to be taught. And indeed, you could adapt a scriptural phrase that there are enough and to spare. None of us ever quite fully utilizes the allocation of people, all of whom lie within our circles of friendship, if we would but take advantage of them. You and I call these intersectings coincidence. And that's all right for mortals to use that kind of language, but coincidence is not an appropriate word for an omniscient God. He doesn't do things by coincidence, but instead by divine design. I'm one of those who likes happy intersectings. There are intersectings that are not happy. I'm one of those who likes happy ironies in life. I mention one of these to you now that you probably do not know of. I did not know until recently. In 1855, Abraham Lincoln was then a lawyer in Illinois. He'd been asked to participate in a patent infringement case involving McCormick, the inventor of the Reaper. Lincoln had been given a $400 retainer. It was told he might actually argue the case at the hearing. So he studied hard, went to Cincinnati for the trial. But the lead lawyer in the case, a man named Edwin M. Stanton, was a brilliant Pittsburgh lawyer. And Stanton said of Lincoln, "Why did you bring that long-armed ape here? He does not know anything and can do you no good." Lincoln stayed at the same hotel as Stanton and other attorneys, but he was never asked to eat with them, never asked to confer with them. They didn't even really talk to him. Lincoln went home feeling insulted and, quote, roughly handled by that man, Stanton. The years tumbled on, as you know. And later, Stanton was to join the cabinet of the newly elected president, Abraham Lincoln. There were difficulties of views, but Stanton came to deeply admire Abraham Lincoln. After Lincoln's assassination, when they stood about his bed, and Lincoln was in the process of dying, Stanton, who had once described Lincoln as an ape, paid this tribute to his fallen chief. With a slow and measured movement, Stanton's right arm extended fully as if in salute. He raised his hat and placed it for an instant on his head. And then, in the same deliberate manner, Stanton removed it. Now, Stanton said, Lincoln belongs to the ages. Would that all relationships could have that kind of resolution and ending. Now, my focus today will be on the joys and advantages of gospel living, including these intertwinings. I do that, brothers and sisters, because sometimes at your ages, we in the church may seem to emphasize the stern or seemingly stern gospel requirements without consistently and helpfully identifying the joys and the blessings and the advantages of gospel living, both here and now and in the there and then. As I do this, I do not mean to imply that the pursuit of terrestrial objectives is joyless. We can, in pursuing terrestrial objectives, have joy for a season. The commandments of men, though lesser commandments, may at times be aligned with some of the values and principles of God. But the commandments of men are not going to bring us full joy when we comply with them. In fact, we can't expect to have a fullness of joy in this life until, as the scriptures inform us, the body and spirit are inseparably connected. But we can have much joy and much happiness in life. In fact, God is delighted when his children keep commandments, because then his children are truly happy, and he wants us to be happy. After all, his plan is called the plan of happiness. Conversely, on occasion, God weeps over the needless suffering of his children.